super excited. I'm Kate Duff and really excited to have Lexie Robinson here. Basically, since the beginning days of starting the collective, we knew that we wanted to have Lexie on to talk to us about all things Faire, and probably a million other things, but definitely Faire. So we're super excited to be here. Lexie is going to kind of talk to us about best practices and the way that she prepares for the Faire market, as well as how do we combine all of this to work together. We are one ecosystem. So we want the reps involved. We want Faire involved. We want this very much to become much more transparent, I guess. So Lexie, thank you so much for being here today. I will let you do your intros. I'll handle the chat and ask questions as they come up.
Thanks for having me, Kate. And I'm excited to do this because I'm really excited about where our industry is going as we evolve into more multi-channel ways for our customers to get to us. So the reality is that we've been talking for years about wholesale buying and how it's changing, and it's changed. And retailers are looking for simplicity now. They're looking for convenience. They're looking for the ability to shop when they want to. And sometimes that is like eating cookies, scrolling from bed, on Faire. And I don't think that's
It's the
something we
same way
ever
we
saw.
shop.
Exactly. They have the same behaviors that we do. It mimics, my Nordstrom behavior at night.
Yes,
um,
exactly.
but it doesn't mean that we need to lose sales reps in the process. It means that we need to really add the benefit of what sales reps do. So it's not this either or conversation with Faire, it's this and with conversation. And, reps bring relationships, they bring expertise, they bring merchandising ideas, they bring trust. Um, there's not anybody from Faire who's going to go in and do your peepers display for you. Only your sales rep is going to go in and look at your peepers display and say, you need, these prescriptions, these colors, this assortment, and do that. So,
Not to mention, we know that orders with a rep are 30 to 40% larger. So we all like that too.
yes, we do like that. But Faire brings the convenience and efficiency and some shipping perks that reps can't get, but reps can ask for them. And I know for me, a lot of times, especially, we're going to talk a lot about Faire market for the next few weeks. During Faire market, you just have to ask the vendor, hey, Faire is doing this. What can you do? And, we might not always be able to meet that exact, 15% off is a chunk, but can you do 10? Are we doing free shipping? Is that the 10%? Are you going to swap free shipping for 10% off? What's going to look better to the customer? There's a way we can partner with our reps and our customers without Faire as well sometimes. But a lot of that is asking, and that's relationship building. And, I get texts at 7, 8 o'clock at night, like I'm with a customer and they're going to place this on Faire if you can't do this. And I'm like, whatever it is, just do it. I'm having dinner.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just do it. So we'll talk about a lot of that stuff and those best practices of how to work with individual sales reps. I also want to set like expectations of what great partnerships look like and best outcomes, and like having transparent conversations with your vendors and how to do that. There isn't a one size answer fits all. Not everybody is going to pay commission. Not everybody's going to pay the same commission. Commission reports are inherently impossible, unfair to run until this attribution model that we worked on came out, and it makes things much easier. Um, the attribution tool, I think, was like the breaking point for Faire to realize when I think we started it before GHTA when we went to we run Salt Lake last year. They all meld. We run Salt Lake in
Deer
October.
Valley. Yes. Yep.
Park City.
Park
We were in
City.
Park
Park
City.
City.
I was same state, different ski
I
town.
was trying to figure out where we were too. I'm with you.
Um, and I had been working with Faire on the attribution model prior to getting to conference, and then it rolled out after conference. And working on that model was like a breath of fresh air, like, "Oh, reps are really gonna get something here. There's a win." And then, some rep principals were like, "This is terrible. They're getting more of our information." And the fact of the matter is, Faire has all the
Has it?
information. They've had it for years.
Yeah.
We fed them customer lists 6 or 7 years ago because we didn't wanna pay. Back then, it was like 25% on a new customer. It wasn't $10. Their fees have changed because they change, because they wanna make money, and they figure out how to do it. We can't really make more money. We pay a straight commission. We have our fees that don't exist outside of Faire. They exist within Faire. They're very I don't think some of our partners outside of Faire understand how expensive it is to run a Faire page. It's much more expensive than having a rep group. Um,
Well, it's the same thing. It's essentially you have to look at it like your D2C. It's pay to play in a lot of ways.
oh, for sure. For sure. It's you kind of take away that showroom cost for the year, and
Yeah.
it goes into like the insider partnerships and the marketing and this, and it kind of evens out, but it's really expensive. You don't just like upload your stuff and it magically sells. You have to hire a customer service person to run Faire.
Mhm.
It's not usually the same person who's doing customer service for indies because it's a little techy and it's a little different. But ultimately, our shared goal is to make it as easy as possible for retailers to buy from vendors. And however we get there, I want to get there, and I want to help the rep groups grow. I want to help other vendors grow, because the longer that we have this industry, the better off we all are. We don't want
Yeah.
it to become fully automated. We want the people to matter. We want the reps to matter. We really want the reps to understand the attribution model. And I really want to be an advocate for vendors paying commission through that attribution model when a rep has touched a customer prior to them coming to Faire, and them being a not a marketplace customer, a regular in-house vendor customer. So,
Do you
there's a
wanna
lot
kind
to
of, break that down just, like, a little bit more as far as the attribution? So, has it rolled out? How do people use it? Is that the best way to go about it for now? I know Faire is very it always goes back to, yes, they've had our information since day one. There is nothing that rep groups, nobody's holding on to any information that Fair couldn't possibly get. So sharing information, that's not really on the table as far as an issue goes. It's more so, how do we find a way that if a rep is working with these retailers, like, how do you do it? Do they call you? Do they?
So, my take is that the rep links are archaic, and they're not as sustainable as they once were, and this attribution model has blown the rep links out of the water. But there's a cohesiveness within those rep links. You really need to work with your vendor's customer service person. And I don't know a vendor who doesn't have a customer service person who every rep knows personally. Like,
Right.
who they are. This is the person you're talking to. So when the Faire orders come in, and even with the rep sales managers, I'll sit with somebody like Katie Gale at Just Gotta Have It for, an hour on an afternoon that we're both free. And is Katie here?
She
Somebody just
must be, because someone knows Katie. Hi, Katie.
Someone knows Katie. That's my girl. Katie is my girl. And I got a lot of help rounding this attribution model when I worked with Faire to do it from reps too. It was not all like just my ideas. I asked a lot of people because there's a lot of things I don't know. And I
Right.
think collectively, like the collective, right? Like, we can make it all happen. So the attribution model, when you go into an order, you can assign a rep group. And we talked about when Faire was building it, having rep names or rep groups. And we ultimately landed on a rep group because you pay a group commission. You don't
Yep.
pay an individual rep commission. And it's easier to manage, less things to click on. So you can assign an order automatically right? And it's done, and then it lives in there forever. So when you pull your reports, or depending upon how your commissions team runs commissions, they can just pull a report out of Faire and just everybody who's attributed gets commission, and there's no paperwork on the other end of that.
Beautiful.
The other thing is, when you sit with a sales manager and go through some of those orders, it's like, okay, make sure Jane's House of Flowers is attributed to Kelly. Make sure so and so is attributed to here. And then there is pushback from a vendor because we don't want to pay everybody for everything.
Right.
So, you can have your own boundary with that. And I think when we go into some of the other sessions, we'll talk more about like a very cleared boundaried schedule on how to do that. But there is one that works for everybody because
Yeah.
everybody does it differently.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully we get to a point where as an industry we have, standardization. And I feel like slowly but surely we're getting there with it. And the more transparent, like that sounds, I'm sure some people are like, okay, so that's an extra call I have to do every month to figure out this commission thing. But yes, for right now, it's all about making sure that if a rep did write an order, making sure that they get the commission for that order because we want to keep incentivizing them to sell when they're the ones doing it.
A lot of it is also route and by memory. Like this morning, I saw every Faire order that comes in, I see, because
Yeah.
I'm copied on. You can copy as many inboxes as you want in there, but I like to see them because I like to know what's going on. So this morning, I saw a very large order come over and we paid commission on it. And I was like, that's a regular customer. And I called my girl and I said, can you please go into reverse this right now and assign the rep to it?
Yep.
It's a $5,000 order. I don't know when the rep would ever even see that.
Right.
But I
Right.
know that she's been working with them for years and she's on vacation and I'm not bothering her this week while she's on
Right.
vacation. But that's also that intimacy of relationships. I and I and I say this with so much like love and kindness behind it. You really have to be friendly with the people who know the business behind who you're working with. Because I caught it because I saw it and I know who it is and I know where they are because I have a relationship with this person.
Right.
Right? Like, so if you're a rep who's just like dialing it in and not on the phone with like your customer service teams from your, and I know you guys, if there's a lot of reps on this call, I know the ones who have 80 vendors can't do it, but you do have 10 to 15 big vendors. And those large vendors, you should know your customer service person and you should know your sales manager and even the person above your sales manager because they're the ones who are seeing all of this and doing 1,000 things before you even see it.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody I'm even calling that a group that I need to say that I did that. It just
Right.
gets done. It's
Right.
automatic. So it's really important to have those relationships. And as we are getting into this place where I know in New York we're having, one of my favorite reps that I've worked with for 20 years retire.
Susan Wall.
Susan is leaving. I mean, when I was a buyer, Susan
Yes.
sold me Fred, who I work for now, right? Like
Yes.
crazy. Um, like who are we going to bring in? Who's going to
Right.
they have to know like it's you're getting some really big lines in there. You
Yeah.
have to make friends, really friends
Yeah.
with the girl who runs your customer service, with the girl or the boy or the man or the person who is you can't just phone it in on an iPad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think more and more and more it's yes, we know we're based. Everyone says it all the time. It's a relationship business, but it's getting more and more important that we stick to that relationship because it is the difference. It is the thing that sets reps apart. It's the thing that sets customers apart. Matthew was asking when an order customer is part of the attribution process and is assigned to an agency, does the agency also get a copy of the order, or
Yep.
is that something that you have to set up,
They
you
get
as
a
in the
copy of
vendor?
it going forward. Once the attribution is assigned to them, the email address that the rep group has for their Faire, like for their Faire direct link, it's that same address. That address will get a copy of the order,
Beautiful.
which I didn't know when it first happened. And then I started getting phone calls about orders. And I was like, can you please call like your customer service person? And they're like, no, what is this? And I was like, oh my God,
Oh,
you're getting copies of these orders. Like I had no idea what was
yeah.
happening.
But that's, like, such a good thing because it always goes back to transparency. So do you still,
It goes
like
back to transparency. Sorry, Kate. But it
no, go ahead.
also, what I have seen is that some rep groups like to be ahead of themselves and they'll throw that stuff on a commission report, on like an unpaid orders report. And it's showing they could be dated. So you just have to be very careful when like then trying to remanage what
Yeah,
we're already managing too. So again, that's where you have to talk to who's doing what for you at your vendor site.
and make sure.
Yeah.
So with, do you still so, like, for our clients, we always said every Friday or once a month, whatever it is, send your Faire orders to your rep groups so that we always believe that if a rep is managing their territory, they need to understand everything in their territory. So they need to understand what's happening on Faire. They need to understand what's happening direct so that they have a clear understanding of where to go. Is that something that you still recommend? Or with this attribution, they're seeing the orders?
Well, they're seeing who you want them to see because you still have
Mm.
to assign it. So it depends if like once a customer, how do I explain it? What's the easiest way to explain it? Once a customer is a marketplace customer, right?
Yep.
So they open on Faire. They have come through Faire. They have found you on Faire. You have paid the $10 and you pay them commission. You cannot make that customer um, uh, a, a rep customer. You can't do it. You cannot flip it. So you can give that information to a sales rep and try to have them follow up and turn it into a rep customer. But I don't think I've ever seen it happen. Maybe 2 out of 100 orders that will happen. That person who found you on Faire is generally a niche store, right? They are a bakery, they are a coffee shop, they are a shop where I'm not going to say all, but I'm going to say a lot of reps aren't going into because they only have one line to sell them or they have 2 lines to sell them. It's not a regular appointment driven route that they're on. They're also sometimes in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So
Agreed.
you wouldn't get there anyway without taking a 2-day road trip to get to some of these stores. So handing over the list is helpful, but it also, I have found it at sometimes to be a deterrent
Okay.
because if you don't know what's out there, you don't know what's out there. You don't need to know that because then you think you lost 20 orders. You
Right.
didn't lose 20 orders. You never had those 20 orders. You didn't know those 20 customers.
Right. Right.
Now, am I gonna give them to the rep principal if they ask for them? 100%. Any
Okay.
principal could ask me for almost anything, and I will do my best to deliver that information. I just don't know if it's always helpful to have.
Okay.
I have, which maybe we could talk about on one of the later sessions, have written out these AI roadmaps for 20 customers over 30 days or something that we did that were phenomenal.
Okay.
Um, using like nuggets from Faire to do.
Eh,
I have taken a lot of what has worked to make us so successful on Faire and try to turn that over into rep information that I deliver weekly and monthly to sales reps.
That's amazing. Are you finding too, because Angelina's on here saying, do we train our reps to understand like the Faire offerings? Is that kind of where we see the whole future of this going? Like, to me, it's there's place for all of it. Certain customers should be handled by a rep, and some, like what you were just saying, should just be on Faire. Like if it's a little cheese shop in the middle of nowhere and it's, $200 orders, let that be Faire. And you focus on the stores where you can really have an impact.
Here's what I'll say. I gotta close the chat because I'm looking at the questions.
Oh, sorry,
What
sorry. I'll
That's
read
okay.
them out to
What
you.
No, 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 thank you. What I'll say is, you take a customer in our industry like Pigment, right? Pigment's gonna come to the show, and they are going to look at the new and write an order for new. They are going to do all their orders on Faire. That rep who you have on Pigment needs to know how to work Faire.
Yeah,
They need to know where your collections are, and they need to know what you don't have on Faire so they can continuously go to the buyers at Pigment and say, I know you're buying, but this butter charm is not on Faire and this keychain is not on Faire. And I want to make sure that your store has all the new stuff and not, X, Y, and Z in there. There is a way that reps can, if I'm answering the question, work with them. Are they going to? No, because they're still so afraid of them.
okay.
I think some of our training has to be to take out some of that fear
Yeah,
and work in conjunction with. Um, and I'm not exactly sure how to do that because that's going to be up to the rep principals and their sales managers on how you want to do that. But I don't ever want to lose business because
right,
we're going to get it one way or another. It's
right.
how you're going to increase it, because I know for a fact all of us don't have all of our stuff on Faire either. Like, our new is not
Agreed.
on Faire
Yeah,
yet. Our
yeah.
new you can buy today in the Anne McGillivray showroom, and you could buy it in the Just Gotta Have It showroom. In a couple weeks, you could buy it in a Harper Group showroom. You cannot buy what season are we going into? Spring 27.
Yeah.
No, fall
Oh,
27. Fall 26. I'm looking at spring 27. Um on Faire right now. You just
yeah.
can't.
Well, and I think that's a lot of it. It's like whatever you're offering, it typically we do the same thing with our clients. We're like, "Hey, you put it out at a show, it doesn't go up on the fair market or on Faire until everyone's had an opportunity to see it, and then it goes up on Faire, and at that point, still everything doesn't go there.
Mhm.
Matthew, I don't know if this is Matt Katzenson, but, maybe. Um, Lex, that's why I'm assuming it's him.
Yes.
Lex, what do you and Katie review? So when you talk about that, and also, he says, I understand that a vendor can also upload an account list with agency assignments. Is that correct?
You can.
Okay, great. And then how are you taking the fair evaluations of business development and creating tools for reps? What are some examples? I think we're going to get into that probably later on in sessions, but if there's anything loose you want to talk about.
All right. So what are me and Katie reviewing each month for an hour? We're going over the orders because it's worth more
It's
than
worth it.
it's
Yeah.
worth. We could probably spend 3 hours, but neither one of us is 3 hours to break out.
Yeah.
We're going over orders, like who placed what and where it belongs. Um, and it doesn't have to be every month, but if it's not Katie, it's with Stacy and it's with Allison. It's with somebody.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, somebody at Just Gotta Have It knows where it's going.
Yeah.
We know where we're going. And then yes, you can upload an entire account list. That would be if the vendor wants to do that.
Okay.
Again, that would be vendor by vendor.
And then some of the tools that you've created for reps. How are you taking the fair evaluations of business development and creating tools for reps? What are some examples of tools you have shared?
We're going to get into that on this
Okay.
setting up for success
Okay, perfect.
um, session.
So this is just an info for all of you all to realize how full of information Lexie is, because we are going to be doing how many parts?
I
Is
think
it
we have 3 or
I think it's
4.
yeah, 3 or 4 sessions where she's going to tactically show everybody how to be using everything and her tools. And so today is to ask questions and understand kind of her philosophy around it, and hopefully sign up for the course at the end here. Let's see if I got another one. What do you mean where's what going? Okay, can Lexi talk about good ideas and best practices for the upcoming fair market?
I think that's session 2.
That'll be in session too.
Yeah.
But give us an idea, like, you're really gonna break this down so that people are very prepared to make money on the fair market and also educate the reps about how all of this works because information is power. And hopefully, as we all learn everything about each other's businesses, as far as fair and agencies, agencies will come up with other ways too that we can be that much better of partners, if that makes sense.
For sure. And I think again we'll go back to the relationship between the rep agency and the vendor and really, really cultivating the that intimate details of orders with the customer service person who you are working with. So they know when you like I know that one of our girls will shoot somebody a text when a fair order comes in without me knowing it, so they know. Because they have their own relationship, because they send each other cookies and they send each other Cracker Barrel gift cards and they talk about what's new at Bucky's and like they just have their own relationships. So much of it is like, they people like to say sometimes our industry is clicky. I think it's friendly. I don't
Yeah.
think it's clicky. I think it's like who's your bestie and where are they at and utilize that
Yeah.
when it comes to like getting the information that you need and
So
and not
when your customer service person sends a quick text to the rep and say, "Hey, we got an order on that," is that an opportunity for the rep to talk to you or talk to them and get that attributed to them? Like, is
if
that
it's
the
if it's
process?
new, yes. And that's also sometimes the rep will be like, can you cancel it so I can do it? And I will not do that. I
Okay.
find that very unprofessional, and it kinda leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and there are a couple of reps who every time it comes in, they're like, "Cancel the order," and I'm like, "We are not canceling
Yeah.
anything, honey.
Yeah.
This order is in. Please do not call the customer," and there are a couple of reps that you cannot let know that fair orders came in because
Yeah.
they call the store and make a stink.
Yeah.
So we do have 2 on the, like, on the no-fly list that you don't let them know
Yeah.
because it can unravel, and, we talk a lot about behind the scenes of, like, how the sausage is being made. A buyer never wants to know who's getting commission on their order. They
Correct.
don't wanna talk about it at a
Yep.
meeting. They don't wanna hear a rep say, "Please buy this from me. Please don't go on Faire," and
Agreed.
half of our reps are doing that,
Yeah.
or more maybe. Way
Well, it
too
was a
many.
whole thing, like, don't you remember, at I think it was at GHTA, talking about the whole fact of uh, the retailers should not know what market time is. They don't need to know what our point of sa like, it used to be that the retailers went to the reps as their, like, counselors and therapists and all that, and then it became very much the reps it got really hard for a while there. It was hard for everyone, but it
Mhm.
got really hard for them, and so then it reversed, and it's the same thing. Commissions it's like when you're in a showroom and it's at a territory and they want you to cancel that order and place it with your rep, like, it's just not how it works,
No.
because it's taking from somebody. What it means is how do you get that much better at communication that all those orders are coming in through you,
Right.
you know? Um, what else what should people expect if they sign up for the course? What should they expect to learn over the 4 sessions?
I think we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna really get into the nitty-gritty of how to get those attributions up and running and to run reports out of them, how to get the most success out of your shop, like from building your profiles to photography and product descriptions and collections and how to do your inventory and your shop optimization, like all of those side buttons that you might not know what they're there for. Like we'll get into those customer list, commission philosophy, internal processes, working so it's not just your shop, like it's like it run it like a rep business,
Yeah.
it's the same as a rep model, so it's the same idea. And then like just preparing for growth and then how to keep your reps informed. Is your customer list current? Are you updating current customer lists on Faire? Are you giving those to your reps? How do you want your 2027 to look on Faire versus direct versus like what channels are you really looking at to grow? And we can talk about all that and answer all the questions in between.
It's going to be so good. I have one question just as you were saying that. So, as a best practice, how often are you updating your customer list on Fair? Only because what an opportunity to, like, we all just went through a show. I'm sure people open new doors. Like, get that list updated. Do you consider that like a monthly thing, after show thing?
I think right now, and this is like a pivot from Fair because not everything is about Fair, thank God. We are trying to collect handles for like our TikTok shop and
Yeah.
Instagram for live shopping and build our customer list in other ways than just the customers who are shopping there. Because market time captures an email when it's new and then you have it. But how often are you capturing a handle to somebody's TikTok where
It's
are you
so
are you
true.
using TikTok Shop? Like, we're really leaning into TikTok Shop right
Yeah.
now.
Well, and it's like, remember back
It's
in
another
the
channel.
day, get an email, get an email, get an email.
Mhm.
Now can you imagine not getting an email? But
Yeah.
that was like a thing. Like,
I mean, market time, where are they? Put handle in we got
yes,
900 other things we need to fill out
we'll
every
pass it
time
along to
we
Todd.
enter an
Yeah.
order.
And also just so everyone again is communicating. So like where do we all talk? We talk on TikTok, we talk on Reels, we talk on Insta.
Yeah.
Like it's like we need to have
The
everybody's
the
information.
Facebook market time pages are some of my favorite nighttime reading.
Oh, I've seen you get on there and
I've been on
it
there.
is spectacular. And I'm always like, poor Dylan. He's like, I'm trying to keep up with it. And I'm like,
You
oh,
you
bless,
can't keep up with
because we all just have so many opinions.
it. Yeah.
Does anybody have any more questions? We're going to have the course posted up soon. It's $250. I think there's a payment plan if you want to do that. All the information will be up in the collective. It'll be office hours like this where you can actually ask Lexie questions, and we can even pop you up if you're camera ready and want to actually have a conversation, or you can do it in a chat like this. I know that, you know, if you haven't had a chance to get to know Lexie, you should. And you should absolutely be following her on social media and on LinkedIn because her take on things is always really interesting and has made me think about things in new ways too. So make sure you find her there. Lexie, what are your handles?
On LinkedIn, it's always my name. It's just Lexie Robinson
Easy peasy. Okay,
everywhere.
good. Okay. Angelina, we answered those. Can you explain how many sessions and if they will all happen before the fair market?
Yeah, they're before the fair market, and then we're gonna do a wrap up market.
Yeah. So we're going to do 3 sessions before the market to get you totally ready. And then we're going to do one after as a full recap so that you can, everyone can talk about how it went for them, things you could have done better, so on and so forth. So that's how we've laid it out. I wish people were able to like pop on and ask questions instead of having to like wait. Carlos is saying we'll be posting all the full details on the course. You can connect with us on the community anytime. And Lexie, thank you so much today. Is there anything else? Anything else you want to hit on?
No,
Um,
I'm excited for what comes next. Oh, can the
oh,
first session
this
be
has to be
work
Matt.
vendors?
Can the first session be how to work with vendors prior to market?
I think workshop 1, I could put that in there.
Yeah, we're flexible. And that's the whole thing. You'll be on and you'll be live. And so if there's questions that are timely for in terms of the fair market, we can address them. And then, oh yeah, reps will need time to work with their vendors. Yeah. Great idea. And then the other piece of it is I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, the whole concept is we'll get you totally ready for the Faire market and then recaps afterwards, which will also be a really great one for the reps to understand how it went, what went down, and how do we make sure that we're all working together as best as possible. Okay. Join our course. We'll send all the updates. If you have any other questions in the community, there's a conversation. You can go in and talk there. You can send us emails, texts. Most of you have all of our information, but it's at the Claxton Collective. And really excited. Thank you all for being here today. And this is just the beginning. Lexie, awesome as always. And we will chat soon.